Hey folks, it's Lindsay Hollis with SPS back in the building over at the Horatio Williams Foundation Team Camp, right? The test of the best. That's through TJ Kelly putting 60 teams together over 2 days, Michigan and Ohio. I got a team, I got a coach that you're familiar with, and if you weren't, and you went to the state championship last season, you would have saw the Romulus Summit Dragons and Coach Derek Clark in his second year right now, making things happen. Coach, so good to see you. Congratulations. We out here with the Summer League. So talk about your last game of the season and how that carries over into the Summer League right now.
You know, it didn't end the way we wanted it to end, but in terms of carrying over, we got 12 of those guys coming back. Right?
12, yeah, you said you lost 4 and 12, so the culture is intact.
Yeah, so the culture is there, even more so this year than it was last year. Last year I got the job around this time of the year.
Right.
So, you know, we halfway through our summer stuff
it was exactly
already.
this. It was this time a year ago that we had met and you were just getting things going.
Yeah, so I think we're a little further along this year in the summer than we were last year, because I picked up and we just had to kind of get the moving real quick without organizing anything.
Right.
You know, we kind of just jump right into it.
Right.
So, you know, that carryover from having that bad taste in our mouth from last year.
That you couldn't describe, you couldn't write it on a whiteboard, they had to experience that.
Yeah. You know, that's something, you know, when we pulled off, you know, on the bus, you know, we told them to remember that feeling.
Right.
So you never want to feel it again.
Right. You know, and maybe this is a question I can pose that we can come back to later in the year. Do you think it's harder pushing the boulder up or to stay on top? Because now you got to deal with the reality that everybody's familiar with how impactful y'all can be.
Yeah, it depends on how you lead your program, right? If you don't have a standard and you don't let your guys know that that's the standard every day, then having that bullseye on your back is going to be hard, right? But we know what our standard is, so it shouldn't be hard. It should be like, you know, people going to work every day, you know? Like, it's hard to get up and go to work every day, mentally, but, you know, you got to iron your clothes. You got to, you know what I mean, make sure your coffee ready, you know, like your lunch got to be packed. So,
well, those all sound like things you do if you want to be successful, because you could go to work wrinkled up. You can not have a lunch and be hungry, but these are the things you've been saying for success, and it seems that that's playing to your benefit right now.
Yeah. So it's the standard, man. We just preach the standard day in, day out, even with the incoming guys. So, you know, we make sure that everybody understands what's supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen.
Speaking of that, you know, you have the success and the notoriety of the championship run, which is great. And you have a pretty notable freshman coming in Cody Bush. I've been knowing him for a while. I mean, everybody knows Cody. How are you managing the quasi-celebrity, respectfully, that comes with someone like Cody Bush touching up? Damn, Ian. Yeah, well, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Because it's you, I know ain't nothing but love. I thought you wanted some camera time. We'll fix it. I kind of. That's a great segue, because now I think about the quasi-celebrity experience you're having with someone like Cody Bush. Very well known, very well respected, but he's also kind of like this new firebrand added to your brand. So how have you managed that as a coach?
Man, to be honest, he is as humble as they come. You know what I mean? We haven't had any prima donna stuff. You know, his mom is
shout out to Bay.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the best women in the game, you know. You know, she lets me coach, right? Cody accepts the coaching. He wants to be coached, so he wants to be great. So he looks for us to give him feedback, and he's not coming into the situation like, I'm Cody Bush and y'all got to move to the beat of my drum. He's trying to figure out what the summer standard is and how he can help push the agenda forward.
Yeah. You and I talked offline a little bit about managing the expectations of a freshman in that S word starting. He's not starting right now, but you say he's getting starter minutes. How do you manage that, not even as a coach, but also as like a GM of the team, to kind of manage that internally and externally?
I just lead with honesty first, you know. So before anybody ever put a jersey on for Summit, you know, we sit down and we talk about what their roles don't look like, you know, from my vision. Now, that don't mean you can't change it, right? But going into the situation, I make sure everybody understand where I see stuff and you know, kind of get them the information and let them, you know, kind of decide if this is what you want to do. And I think you have to do that with the success that we had last year.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you don't want people coming in thinking it's one thing, and then when they get there, it's something different.
Well, and this is not even about pointing fingers. It happens across the board, different sports. So many times there's this delusion or misunderstanding or miscommunication or flat out lying early on as far as what somebody said they allowed them to do. Why is it that you don't find yourself in that situation?
Because it just ends bad on the back end. You know what I mean? It's either it's going to be a blow up, between the player and the coach, or the parent and the coach, or it just never ends well when you're not honest up front. And even if they want to try something different on the back end when you are honest, I can at least say, well, I never lied to you. I never promised you something that you didn't get, because we just provided an opportunity.
Right.
And then what you do with the opportunity, along with our tutelage and our knowledge that we're giving you,
right.
It's kind of up to the player.
I get it. As we get ready to transition, I definitely want to talk to a few more of your players. My other question is, how do you count summer league success? What does success look like in summer league?
How we advance as a team, right? It's not really wins and losses, and it's hard to say that, because you don't want to lose anything.
Right.
But I want to see if, we just played at 1 o'clock. So it's something that I talked about.
Brother Rice.
Right, yeah. So we just played a very good program, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about the things that I felt like went wrong in the third quarter. So now this game at 3 o'clock, that's what I'm really looking at more than anything. I want to see if we fix the stuff that we had wrong in the last showing, and continue to build brick by brick.
I get it. You've been very gracious with me, giving me access to your program, and I really appreciate that. So the goal of us having a conversation as the years go on and the year goes on, what do you think a conversation is going to be like next summer, and why would that conversation be that way?
Lord willing, we talking about the championship that we just won. And I think it'll go that way, just because got the same staff, got 12 returners coming back, and a freshman in Cody that you spoke about, got a returning point guard, Jordan Fuller, who was flying under the radar, but is one of...
He's not under my radar. I'm familiar with Jordan, but I get you, though.
If you ask me, he top 25 in Michigan, regardless of class. And I think he's proven it, but I think this year, being like a main guy for real, people really going to say, okay, no, he does have it.
Yeah. Well, last thing I'll say, man, I made this comment earlier, man. It's like you kind of ate it up in the weight room a little bit the past couple of weeks, huh?
Man, the guys been in there heavy, so every now and again, I get with them and show them, throw some weight around in there, man. Trying to get right, man.
Yeah, you not trying, you doing it.
Man, I appreciate you.
Got Coach Derek Clark. This guy's doing an outstanding job. I'm happy to be connected with this program. Shout out to Keith Stevens. I really have a great amount of admiration for your athletic director as well. So with that being said, Lars, any shout outs you want to give?
Nah, I'm just going to say I might be biased, but Keith Stevens, man, is the best AD in the world, man. Shout out to my wife, too. Last time we did this interview, I was engaged, so I'm married now.
Congratulations, that's right. You was getting ready for honeymoon and all. Hey, man, hey, time keep moving. With that being said, hey, I might be talking to you about something different. We'll see. With that being said, guys, Lindsay Ellis with SPS. We'll see you next time.